Water has no smell, no color, no dash.
Bravo! Taste is the answer.
Highest percentage of air consists of.
You're right. Nitrogen is the correct answer.
When we switch on a fan, we feel dash. Clear logic. Your choice cool is sound and 100% true. We cannot see air, but we can dash it.
Well picked. Feel is the correct answer.
Where do continental air masses form? Correct response. Over land is the most accurate answer.
What is greenhouse effect related to?
Excellent. Plants is a brilliant choice. Air takes up space and dash pressure.
Right choice. Exerts is the best answer. Fast and strong winds are called dash. Sharp thinking. Storm is the right choice. How much forest is lost every minute? Smart move. 20 football fields is an accurate answer. How much nitrogen is in the air? Good thinking. 78.1% is the right answer. How to test the presence of hydrogen? Right again. Use burning wooden splinter is a valid answer. What kind of matter fills a balloon? Good job. Your answer gas works well here. Orographic rainfall is also known as. Solid response. Relief rainfall is a valid choice. Trees take dash gas from surrounding. You chose carbon dioxide, and it is correct. The wheels of a plane are called the. Great job. Landing gear is the accurate answer. Which gas is released in combustion? On track. Carbon dioxide is the correct answer. Our homes should be well ventilated. Smart pick. True is the correct choice. What helps the air to keep it clean? Exactly. Trees make sense, and it is right choice. The ozone layer protects us from. Great thinking. A. UV rays is the right choice. A glider flies with the help of dash. Nicely done. Wind is a solid answer. Air is not colorless and odorless. Well reasoned. False is the correct choice. Who was the husband of Mumtaz Mahal? Nice selection. Shah Jahan is the correct and valid answer. Which object would move in the wind? Excellent choice. Leaves is the right answer. Plants do not give out water vapor. Strong choice. False is the right answer. Air is used by all the organisms for. You got it? Your choice respiration is right. How many states of matter are there? Perfect. 3 is the correct choice. Smoke from dash cause air pollution. Valid point. Vehicles is true. A dry and hot air mass would be dash. Nice work. You chose continental tropical and it is correct. What makes objects fall to the earth? Correct. Gravity is the right answer. The place where two air masses meet. Well done. Front is the right choice.
Name one long-term pollution disease.
Solid response. Asthma is a valid choice. Which kind of air should we breathe?
You chose clean, and it is correct.
The dash in the air causes rainfall. Smart pick. Water vapor is the correct choice. What do you call a very strong wind? Excellent choice. Breeze is the right answer. What is not a form of precipitation? Nice work. You chose cats and it is correct. Plants and trees keep the air clean. You're right. True is the correct answer. The dash makes the windmill rotate.
You got it? Your choice wind is right.
The Montreal Protocol was passed in. Nicely done. 1987 is a solid answer. Which of these makes the air dirty? Good job. Your answer smoke works well here. Cold air is more dash than warm air. Exactly. Dense makes sense, and it is right choice. The body of the plane is called the... Well picked. Fuselage is the correct answer.
Which gas is used as a rocket fuel? Nice selection. Oxygen is the correct and valid answer.
Slow and gentle wind is called dash.
Correct. Breeze is the right answer. Where is air pressure the greatest?
Great job. At Earth's surface is the accurate answer. Expanding of balloon shows air dash.
Right again. Occupies space is a valid answer.
The column of air above you is dash. Sharp thinking. Air pressure is the right choice. Aeroplanes need air to move or fly. Bravo. True is the answer. Dash is the gaseous state of water. Excellent. Water vapor is a brilliant choice. Oxygen is not used for respiration. Strong choice. False is the right answer. Plants and animals need air to dash. Smart move. Live is an accurate answer. Dash from cars makes the air dirty. Clear logic. Your choice smoke is sound and 100% true. Trees provide us with the following. Well done. All of the above is the right choice. Smog is a mixture of smoke and fog. Great thinking. True is the right choice. Who founded the Tuskegee Institute? Correct response. Booker T. Washington is the most accurate answer. Substance which pollute the air are.
Right choice. Pollutants is the best answer.
Combustion requires two components. Perfect. Fuel and oxygen is the correct choice. Dash can be used as air ambulance. Good thinking. Helicopter is the right answer. What is the percent of nitrogen in air? On track. 78% is the correct answer. Which of these is a greenhouse gas?
Valid point. Carbon dioxide is true.
The Taj Mahal is being affected by. Well reasoned. Air pollution is the correct choice. Plants need dash gas for breathing. Nice selection. Oxygen is the correct and valid answer. What helps the flight move faster? Solid response. Shape and size is a valid choice. Which is not combustible substance? You're right. Stone is the correct answer. The percentage of argon gas in air. Excellent. 0.93% is a brilliant choice. We board the aeroplane at the dash. On track. Airport is the correct answer. What type of refrigerant is RN34? Perfect. HFC is the correct choice. Air is a mixture of several gases. Great job. True is the accurate answer. We can see air but cannot feel air. Well done. False is the right choice. Winds are caused by differences in. Good thinking. Air pressure is the right answer. Air is a dash of several of gases. Sharp thinking. Mixture is the right choice. Plants and animals breathe in air. Right again. True is a valid answer. Where do maritime air masses form? You chose over water, and it is correct. Where is the air pressure highest? Smart pick. Sea level is the correct choice. Which is the main source of water? Smart move. Rain is an accurate answer. At the poles, air is usually dash. Right choice. Sinking is the best answer. The ozone layer is damaged by. You got it! Your choice, A. Cephs, is right. Which one is treated as bad ozone? Strong choice. Tropospheric ozone is the right answer. The burning of fuel produces dash. Nicely done. Smoke is a solid answer. Is pollution good for your health? Well picked. No is the correct answer. We do not sweat when it is humid. Correct. False is the right answer. What are the two types of breeze? Good job. Your answer, both LB and SPE, works well here. When air moves, it is called wind. Clear logic. Your choice true is sound and 100% true. Which of these is called a storm? Excellent choice. A strong wind is the right answer. Which of these is present in air? Great thinking. Smoke is the right choice. Dash gas is necessary for burning. Nice work. You chose oxygen and it is correct. Smoke and germs make the air dash. Valid point. Impure is true. Dash is the main source of water. Correct response. Rain is the most accurate answer. When was the first airplane made? Bravo, 1903 is the answer. When the air is heated, it becomes. Exactly. Lighter makes sense, and it is right choice. Which is the purest form of water? Well reasoned. Distilled water is the correct choice. The larger the parachute, the dash. Clear logic. Your choice, more drag, is sound and 100% true. There are 3 states of matter. Sharp thinking. True is the right choice. What do we call a one-way ticket? Well reasoned.
Single ticket is the correct choice. Cutting down of trees causes dash. Well done. Air pollution is the right choice. Dexib per from Jim Desh is the G. Perfect. At is the correct choice. Describe a continental air mass. Exactly. Dry makes sense and it is right choice. The solid state of water is dash. Great thinking. Ice is the right choice. The word compressed means dash.
Correct. To press tightly is the right answer.
Who helps to keep the air clean? Bravo. Trees is the answer. Air is always present around us. Smart move. True is an accurate answer. The giving out of air is called. Good thinking. Exhalation is the right answer. Which of these need air to move? Excellent choice. Kites is the right answer. Nitrogen is an active component. Correct response. False is the most accurate answer. The lower the pressure, the dash. Nice selection. Worse the weather is the correct and valid answer. Liquids do not have fixed shape. You got it? Your choice true is right. The weather forecast tells about. Right again. The weather tomorrow is a valid answer. Which element is present in air? Excellent. Argon is a brilliant choice. Air is a mixture of several dash. You're right. Gases is the correct answer. Which is an effect of acid rain? Solid response. Destroyed forests and trees is a valid choice. What is composition of nitrogen? Strong choice. 78.1% is the right answer. What are the other uses of air? Right choice. Air helps in breathing is the best answer. Greenhouse effect is caused by. On track. Carbon dioxide is the correct answer. Warm air is dash, then cold air. Well picked. Lighter is the correct answer. How many types of air is there? Smart pick. 1 is the correct choice. Warm air molecules take up dash. Good job. Your answer more space works well here. Air pollution happens when dash. Nice work. You chose the air gets dirty, and it is correct. Continental tropical air masses. You chose have warm, dry air, and it is correct. Smog is what kind of pollution? Great job. Air is the accurate answer. The gas required for burning is? Nicely done. Oxygen is a solid answer. What is the climate of Chennai? Valid point. Wet and dry is true. What do you mean by insulation? Right again. Incoming solar energy is a valid answer. Air occupies space and has dash. You chose both weight and force, and it is correct. The Greek word azote means dash. Good job. Your answer no life works well here. How much oxygen present in air? Great job. 21 is the accurate answer, which is not a property of air.
Right choice. It is not matter is the best answer. How does friction affect speed?
Excellent choice. More friction decreases speed is the right answer.
Does air contains water vapor?
Smart move. Yes is an accurate answer.
Moist air is dash then dry air.
Bravo. Lighter is the answer.
Fast-moving air is called dash. Strong choice. Storm is the right answer. Hot air dash and cold air dash. Smart pick. Rises, sink is the correct choice. In solids, molecules are packed. Well done. Tightly is the right choice. There are dash forms of water. Nice work. You chose 3 and it is correct. The gas which helps in burning. Excellent. Oxygen is a brilliant choice. The taking in of air is called. On track. Inhalation is the correct answer. We can feel air when it moves. Sharp thinking. True is the right choice. A dash can damage many things. Great thinking. Storm is the right choice. Dash is present all around us.
You got it. Your choice air is right.
Prayer has what R spelling. Nicely done. IR is a solid answer. Example of a leguminous plant. Good thinking. Peas is the right answer. Weather is caused due to dash. Correct. Both is the right answer. True or false? Air has weight. You're right. True is the correct answer. We dash air inside a balloon. Valid point. Fill is true. Do you think air has weight? Well reasoned. Yes is the correct choice. Is air a mixture or compound? Nice selection. Mixture is the correct and valid answer.
Does Zuko's uncle have a son?
Solid response. Yes is a valid choice. What do you call a soft wind?
Clear logic. Your choice breeze is sound and 100% true.
Describe a tropical air mass.
Exactly. Warm makes sense and it is right choice.
What is very hot wind called?
Well picked.
2 is the correct answer. Dash helps in photosynthesis. Perfect. Carbon dioxide is the correct choice. Animals get dash from plants. Correct response. Oxygen is the most accurate answer. Can cause burning of the skin.
You got it. Your choice sulfur dioxide is right.
Which is not a greenhouse gas. Nice work. You chose ozone and it is correct. Air is mostly made up of dash.
Bravo. Oxygen and nitrogen is the answer.
What does the air consist of? Great job. Molecules is the accurate answer. Another word of poisonous is?
Clear logic. Your choice toxic is sound and 100% true.
Gas that makes up 21% of air. On track. Oxygen is the correct answer. Describe a maritime air mass.
Correct. Wet is the right answer.
When does land breeze occur? correct response. Nighttime is the most accurate answer.
Windmills need wind to work.
Well done. True is the right choice. How do you get in the plane? Smart move. Cabin entry door is an accurate answer. Air is needed for breathing. Perfect. True is the correct choice.
Air is a dash form of matter.
Right choice. Gases is the best answer.
Insects breathe through dash.
Nicely done. Spiracles is a solid answer.
Where are air pressure used?
Excellent choice. All of the above is the right answer.
Cool air molecules move dash.
Right again. Slowly is a valid answer.
Air in motion is called dash.
Sharp thinking. Wind is the right choice.
Is carbon monoxide dangerous?
Well picked. Yes is the correct answer.
Hot air dash.
Well reasoned. Rises is the correct choice.
Secondary air pollutant is.
Smart pick. Pan is the correct choice.
All living things need air.
You're right. True is the correct answer.
Dash is needed for burning.
Nice selection. Air is the correct and valid answer.
Another term for burning is.
You chose combustion, and it is correct. Air is mixture of many dash. Excellent. Gases is a brilliant choice.
This is the type of weather.
Solid response. Sunny is a valid choice.
The main gas for breathe is.
Exactly. Oxygen makes sense and it is right choice.
Acid rain is caused by dash.
Good job. Your answer sulfuric acid works well here.
We can taste and smell air.
Good thinking. False is the right answer.
What is swirling air called?
Strong choice. Cyclone is the right answer. Oxygen supports combustion. Valid point. True is true. What helps the kite to fly? Great thinking. Air is the right choice.
How does air get polluted?
Valid point. All of the above is true.
Dash can blow away things.
Sharp thinking. Storm is the right choice.
Rain is an example of dash.
Excellent. Precipitation is a brilliant choice.
In which layer do we live?
Well picked. Troposphere is the correct answer. How do we name air masses? Correct response. Humidity and temperature is the most accurate answer. How can smog be dangerous? You got it? Your choice, people. Can't breath well is right.
Air execs dash on objects.
Solid response. Pressure is a valid choice.
Moving air is called what?
Well done. Wind is the right choice.
Air helps to dash clothes.
Smart pick. Dry is the correct choice.
Crocodiles breathe through.
Perfect. Lungs is the correct choice.
What does stationary mean?
Right choice. Not moving is the best answer. What are we leering about?
Good thinking. Airplanes is the right answer. Pollution of Sioux destroys. Great job. Lichen is the accurate answer. Air is heavier than water. Well reasoned. False is the correct choice. Cool air molecules take up. On track, less space is the correct answer. Earthworms breathe through. Excellent choice. Skin is the right answer. Air contains -nitrogen. Strong choice, 70.9% is the right answer. What causes the dirty air? You're right. Smoke from factories is the correct answer. Tires are filled with -. Right again. Air is a valid answer. Air does not occupy space. Good job. Your answer false works well here. We use - for breathing. Bravo, oxygen is the answer. Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe. You chose TC2, and it is correct. Noise pollution can cause. Clear logic. Your choice all of the above is sound and 100% true. Can we see and touch air? Correct. No is the right answer. Nitrogen helps in burning. Nice selection. False is the correct and valid answer. We need the air for -. Smart move. Live is an accurate answer. Air does not have weight. Exactly. False makes sense and it is right choice. We should grow more -. Great thinking. Plants is the right choice. Do airplanes have wings? Nice work. You chose no, and it is correct. Which statement is true? Nicely done. All of the above is a solid answer. Global warming is due to? You got it. Your choice greenhouse gases is right. Nitrogen is utilized by? Right choice. Plants is the best answer. What does MAC stand for? Perfect. Mobile air conditioning is the correct choice. We can live without air. Strong choice. False is the right answer. With it, we feel the air. Good thinking. Wind is the right answer. In liquids, molecules are. Well done. Loosely packed is the right choice. The air contains 21% of. Clear logic. Your choice oxygen is sound and 100% true, which is called dry ice. Sharp thinking. Carbon dioxide is the right choice. Warm air molecules move. Good job. Your answer faster works well here. Air can fill the space. Nice selection. True is the correct and valid answer. Nitrogen is a - guess? You chose inactive. And it is correct. Air is - then water. Right again. Lighter is a valid answer. A strong wind is called. Excellent. Storm is a brilliant choice. Nuc multiply by IRO is. Nice work. You chose LCF and it is correct. Does air have a weight? Correct. Yes, it does is the right answer. Why does cold air sink? Great job. It is more dense is the accurate answer.
CFCs cause harm to our. Exactly. Ozone layer makes sense and it is right choice.
What air does not have?
Great thinking. Have color is the right choice.
Air helps dash to fly. You're right. Kites is the correct answer. Water vapor is a dash. Bravo. Gas is the answer.
Does fire need oxygen? Correct response. Yes, it does is the most accurate answer.
Air is a dash resource.
Smart move. Natural is an accurate answer. What is the nose gear?
Valid point. Wheel tire is true.
What does air content? Smart pick. All of these is the correct choice.
Dash can make us sick.
Well reasoned. Germs is the correct choice.
Air is needed for dash.
Excellent choice. Burning is the right answer.
Air helps move things. Well picked. True is the correct answer. Dash is all around us.
Nicely done. Air is a solid answer.
Clouds are formed from.
On track. Tiny droplets of water is the correct answer. What pollutes the air? Solid response. Pollutants is a valid choice.
Meteorites burn up in.
Well reasoned. Mesosphere is the correct choice.
Why air is important?
Right choice. For burning is the best answer.
Impure air is bad for.
Great thinking. Health is the right choice.
Air is all around us.
Solid response. True is a valid choice. Polluted air contains.
Good job. Your answer all of these works well here.
Air has mass and dash. Sharp thinking. Occupies space is the right choice. Dash supports burning. Well picked. Oxygen is the correct answer.
Find the odd one out. Good thinking.
Air is the right answer.
Acid rain can damage.
Perfect. All options are correct is the correct choice. We can dash the air. Smart pick. Feel is the correct choice. The full form of sing. Smart move. Compressed natural gas is an accurate answer.
Air is a mixture of.
Nice selection. Gases is the correct and valid answer.
Full form of.
Strong choice. Chlorofluorocarbons is the right answer. Who is Zuko's uncle?
Nice work. You chose Iroh and it is correct.
Where is atmosphere? Correct response. Above Earth is the most accurate answer. Air is always clean.
Nicely done. False is a solid answer. Air occupies space.
You're right. Yes is the correct answer. We need air to dash. Clear logic. Your choice breathe is sound and 100% true. All animals breathe. Correct. Oxygen is the right answer.
Air expands on dash.
You got it. Your choice heating is right. Rust is called dash. Exactly. Hydrated ferric oxide makes sense and it is right choice. Why do we need air?
Valid point. To breath is true.
Gases are invisible. You chose true, and it is correct. We breathe in dash. Right again. Oxygen is a valid answer.
Helium is used in.
Great job.
Observatory balloons is the accurate answer.
Air exert pressure.
Excellent. True is a brilliant choice.
Choose the odd one.
On track. Bisp is the correct answer.
Dash is odorless. Well done. Air is the right choice. Air has no weight.
Excellent choice. False is the right answer.
A CP air mass is a...
Bravo. Polar continental is the answer.
Air occupies ash.
Exactly.
Space makes sense, and it is right choice. Greenhouses gases.
Great thinking. Absorb and radiate heat is the right choice.
Who named oxygen?
Valid point. Lavoisier is true. Air takes up dash.
On track. Space is the correct answer. Air contains dash. Correct response. Both of these is the most accurate answer. How can wind be?
Perfect. Both is the correct choice.
We can touch air?
Strong choice. No is the right answer.
Which is hotter?
Well reasoned. Cities is the correct choice.
Combustion is a... You chose chemical process, and it is correct. Can we see air? Nice selection. No, we can't is the correct and valid answer. What is breeze? Bravo, pleasant cool wind is the answer. Air can be dash.
Nicely done. Felt is a solid answer.
Air has color. Correct. False is the right answer. We need air for. Smart pick.
All of the above is the correct choice.
Dash emits smoke. Well done. Factories is the right choice.
Percent of argon is.
Nice work. You chose 0.93% and it is correct.
Air expands on.
You got it? Your choice heating is right. Air has taste. Excellent. False is a brilliant choice. CTA masses. Solid response. Tropical continental is a valid choice. Argon is inert. Excellent choice. True is the right answer. HIP stands for
Smart move. Higher intermediate point is an accurate answer.
Where is air?
Sharp thinking. All around is the right choice.
What is wind?
Clear logic. Your choice air in motion is sound and 100% true.
Air is a dash.
Good thinking. Mixture is the right answer.
Air has dash.
Good job. Your answer weight works well here.
Air contains. Well picked.
Both is the correct answer.
Warm air is. Right choice. Light is the best answer. seeing as a... Great job. Clean fuel is the accurate answer.
Warm air.
You're right. Rises is the correct answer.
Air is.
Right again. Colorless, odorless, and tasteless is a valid answer.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Great job. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook is the accurate answer.